riding, coming up the mountain, riding high. Coming up the mountain, riding. Coming up the mountain, riding high. I am coming up the mountain. Rockabye, Jesus on the main line, calling. Jesus on the main line, calling you. Jesus on the main line, calling.
To go to the grassroots and meet the people first, and then think about a political party after.
A mass meeting was organized on June 21st, 1955 by D. Wilton Rogers and John Donaldson through the People's Education and Movement and Teachers Educational and Cultural Association. 10,000 people attended the meeting.
I stand before you tonight, the representative of a principle, a cause, and a defeat. The principle is the principle of intellectual freedom. The cause is the cause of the West Indian people. The defeat is the defeat of the policy of appointing local men to high office. I was born here, and here I stay, with the people of Trinidad and Tobago, who educated me free of charge for 9 years at Queen's Royal College. We are not an ordinary party in the accepted.
Jesus on the main line, calling. I said Jesus on the main line, calling you. Jesus on the main line, calling. I said Jesus on the main line, calling you. I see me people dying slow. I see so much a tornado. Rockabye is glad for me. I see Tobago, Trinidad, West riot is very sad. Rockabye is please hide me. I'm coming up the mountain, riding.
We are not an ordinary party in the accepted narrow sense of the word. We are rather a rally, a convention of all and for all, a mobilization of the forces in the community with emphasis on united action by all the people.
It started with a dream, cautiously harbored in the hearts and minds of our parents and grandparents, sugar, oil, and port workers alike. A dream that was thought unattainable by citizens from the humblest means to the most resourced in society.
Wherever he went, they had tremendous crowds of people in every part of the country. And when I got the opportunity to preside over this meeting at the Mova market, I went and I chatted with him and we made friends. And we agreed to go to the seminar in San Fernando at the Naparima Old Boys. Ibit Mosahib, Dr. Winston Mahabir, Gerard Montano, they were all participants in that seminar. At the end of the meeting, I jokingly said that if we could unite in such a way culturally, why we can't unite politically? And then we went to dinner, and there we developed the talk, and we said to Williams, why don't you come in? He said he will think about it. And he thought about it. And 2 weeks later, he said to me, you remember the discussion we have, we can talk. But I would like to encourage the formation of a political party on a different basis. I would like to go to the grassroots and meet the people first, and then think about a political party after.
A mass meeting was organized on June 21st, 1955 by D. Wilton Rogers and John Donaldson through the People's Education and Movement and Teachers Educational and Cultural Association. 10,000 people attended the meeting.
I stand before you tonight, the representative of a principle, a cause, and a defeat. The principle is the principle of intellectual freedom. The cause is the cause of the West Indian people. The defeat is the defeat of the policy of appointing local men to high office. I was born here, and here I stay, with the people of Trinidad and Tobago, who educated me free of charge for 9 years at Queen's Royal College and for 5 years at Oxford, who have made me whatever I am, and who have been, or might be at any time, the victims of the very pressures which I have been fighting against for 12 years. I have decided I am going to let down my bucket where I am now, right here, with you in the British West Indies.
Eric Williams had launched his new approach to politics in January of the following year in 1956. Woodford Square had become known as the University of Woodford Square, and Dr. Eric Williams launched the PNM. Instead of the usual promises to only improve infrastructure such as standpipes and roads in local areas, this party preached a national vision known as the People's Charter. This included conventions where Dr. Williams outlined plans and national policy. Williams, using this structure, outlined the vision for social development across the country. He had a clearly articulated vision and was backed by a diverse political base. And in 8 months after its formation, the day before his 45th birthday, the PNM won the 1956 election. In the PNM conventions that followed, Williams formed and shaped the country using 5-year plans. In a PNM convention, just like this one, the independence of this nation was proposed for the first time. Dr. Williams laid the historic formal resolution of independence before the members of the PNM. In the convention document of 1962, Williams proposed this resolution. Be it therefore resolved that Trinidad and Tobago reject unequivocally any participation in federation of the Eastern Caribbean and proposed forthwith to national independence. This historic resolution was voted on and adopted first by the People's National Movement. 4 months later, Williams led a team to Marlborough House in London to a conference on the independence of Trinidad and Tobago.
Mr. Secretary, gentlemen, it's a great honor for us, the members of the Trinidad and Tobago delegation, to be here this morning in this historic building, taking our place long overdue in the independence queue. The independent nation of which we dream is like to a grain of mustard seed, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof.
It is that same burning ambition that keeps this party rallied and mobilized for the common good every day for 66 years and counting. The PNM has candidates in every single seat in every single election since inception. This party has served this country in government for a combined 50 years out of 66 in total and won 12 out of a total of 16 general elections, receiving a total of 3,745,542 votes in general elections. The PNM is a strong institution with a disciplined internal structure. This is where the heart of the PNM resides. Rallies, public meetings, walkabouts, cottage meetings, and national meetings that determine the destiny of Trinidad and Tobago. It is in conventions like this that together we map the direction and vision for the country.
So tonight, my dear friends, permit me to begin by reading something for you. By the year 2020, Trinidad and Tobago will be a united, resilient, productive, innovative, and prosperous nation with a disciplined, caring, fun-loving society comprising healthy, happy, and well-educated people, and built on the enduring attributes of self-reliance, respect, tolerance, equity, and integrity, in which every citizen has equal opportunity to achieve his or her fullest potential. All citizens enjoy a high quality of life, where quality healthcare is available to all, and where safe, peaceful, environmentally friendly communities are maintained. All citizens are assured of a sound, relevant education system tailored to meet the human resource needs of a modern, progressive, technologically advancing nation. Optimum use is made of all the resources of the nation. The family, as the foundation of the society, contributes to its growth, development, and stability. There is respect for the rule of law and human rights, and the promotion of the principles of democracy. The diversity and creativity of all its people are valued and nurtured. You know what that is? That is the vision of the PNM.
It is in putting together these policies for the common cause that the PNM has visioned out.
We have always been the party of vision. Great is the PNM because we have always been the party of Dr. Eric Eustace Williams. Great is the PNM because we are the party of George Chambers. Great is the PNM because we are the party that produced Patrick Manning. Great is the PNM because we have always been the party with love for country. Great is the PNM because we will build that new society. Great is the PNM because we will always stand up for and defend Trinidad and Tobago. And on that day, when we would have realized elements of our dream of a new society, we will say with one voice, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail.
The institution of the PNM holds a venerable record of planning onward and upward.
We are not an ordinary party in the accepted narrow sense of the word. We are...
Good people is good people. We only on love. Well, every man make their choices. I say we make sacrifices. We block out the noises. We have to forget the voices. One day we gon' make it. We don't have to fake it. I give you my best. I give you the chain of my neck. I give you my love and respect. But now hear this story. Is you vexing me? Like I do you something. Like I do you something. When I hear this show now, is you vexing me? Like I do the wrong thing. Like I do you something. Oh, it's a good thing. I in a good spirit. I drink in a good spirit. The vibes right life like snaking out the grass. One with your thickness in the right body. One with your thickness in the right body. We thought was a friend and we like it like that. Coming on the life like snaking out the grass. One with your thickness in the right body.
Well, I don't have time to beef. Lucky for you, my friend. I in a good spirit. I drink in a good spirits. The vibes right up to the limits. So don't hold me down. Don't fight me down. Yeah. Good spirit. I drink in a good spirits. The vibes ain't cars in a minute. So don't hold me down. Don't fight me down. Yeah. My friend and them couldn't tell you about me. Good people is good people. We only want love and we so good. Yeah. My friend and them couldn't tell you about me. Good people is good people. We only
PNM people.
make the choices. I said we make sacrifices.
We starting officially 5 minutes. In 5 minutes we begin. So please get yourselves together, get yourselves ready as we stand in defense of democracy here in front of our house, the BALISIER house. PNM people, let me hear you.
Like I know you something. Like I know you something. When I hear the shout now, is you vexing me? Like I know the wrong thing. Like I know you something. Oh, is that good?
Cause a friend and we like it like that.
We are good people. We have good spirits.
Thickness in the right.
We are PNM people. PNM people, make some noise.
Cause a friend and we like it like that.
Where we from?
Like snaking out the grass.
Claxon Bay, Pfizer about here.
Right back.
Well, I don't have time to beef. Lucky for you, my friend. I in a good spirit.
Trin City Maloney, are you here?
Spirits.
La Hocata, are you here?
Limits. So don't hold me down.
Claxon Bay, where are you?
Yeah. Good spirit.
Separia, San Fernando East, San Fernando West.
In a minute. So don't hold me down. Don't fight me. Give praise till praise.
Arima, where you? Port of Spain, Lamantil, Tego Martin. PNM people, sing it. Sing. We want to hear your voices. Sing.
Oh, merciful Father, in this bacchanal season when men lose their reason. But most of us just want to wine and have a good time. Cause we're looking for a line because we're feeling fine, Lord.
PNM people, we are fighting against a wicked and evil government. So to deal with them,
We jump up and down.
we need to give praise. We need to show our hands. So PNM people, I want you all to do this together. Put your hands in the air.
Everybody hand praise. Everybody give praise. Everybody hand praise.
PNM people,
And if you know what I mean,
put up
and if you know what I mean, put up your hand. And if you know,
to the top of your lungs.
and if you know what I mean, then
Sing. Louder. Sing. PNM Day, everybody. City.
everybody come and celebrate. And everybody say, hey, 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 hey.
I love
my
it.
country. Whenever I hear you sing, hey, 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 hey. I'm feeling irate. Ooh, ooh. Hey, 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 hey. I love my country. Whenever I hear you sing, hey, 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 hey. I'm feeling irate. Ooh. Oh, what Father who has given us his son so we can all be the part of your heaven. Forgive
Shagona Swaya, Kuba Waya, Trinity Maloney, Aruka Lopino. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask at this point in time to stand, if you are physically able to, for the national anthem of our Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Forged from the love of liberty, in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in your destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea. This our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. For every creed and race, time and equal place, and may God bless our nation. For every creed and race, time and equal place, and may God bless our nation.
We ask that you remain standing for opening invocation done by Councillor Jamil Biznat.
Testing. Almighty Father, we thank you for gathering us here tonight. We ask you to bless each and every one of our members gathered here. Help us, protect us, keep us safe. Grant us victory against these evil people right now in the country, Almighty God. Almighty God, we call upon you to give us the courage, give us the strength. Help us, Almighty God, for everything is in your name and your name alone. You're the Most High, the Lord of the angels and the spirits. We ask you, we humbly pray to you, protect our home, which is BALISIER House, and protect all the members of parliament, all our councillors, mayors, all of them, and most importantly, our PNM family. Bless each and every one of us here tonight. In your precious name, amen.
Good evening, PNM people.
PNM family, make some noise.
Look at people outside BALISIER House tonight, sending a clear message to a government that is not wanted across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. The Honourable Pennelope Beckles Robinson, political leader of the People's National Movement, opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago, and member of Parliament for Arima, and Mr. Noel Robinson. The chairman of the People's National Movement, Honourable Marvin Gonzales. General Secretary Senator Foster Cummings. Lady Vice Chairman Dr. the Honourable Nyan Gadsby Dolly. Where are the ladies in this audience here tonight? All other officers of the movement, His Worship, the Mayor of the City of Port of Spain, Alderman Chinua Allen, all members of Parliament, senators, and local government representatives, members of General Council who just came down from a robust meeting. Permit me to specially acknowledge Her Worship, the Mayor of the Borough of Diego Martin, Alderman Akila Glasgow Warner, woman warrior of the People's National Movement, and all of you, faithful patriots, answering the call here at number 1 Tranquility Street, Port of Spain. Good evening.
Good evening and welcome. The lovely Laurel Lezama here holding the microphone once again.
And good evening and welcome to the Honourable Hans de Veens, Member of Parliament for Diego Martin West.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the People's National Movement, we are in one of the most serious fights of our lives where we have to defend our democracy. We have a government that attacks our culture, attacks our way of being, cancels our Independence Day. They are nothing short of wicked and evil. And we, the People's National Movement, we stand in defense of Trinidad and Tobago. We stand in defense of democracy. And yes, this is our home, BALISIER House. We stand in defense of our home.
And I want to echo that sign. Move your grubby hands off of BALISIER House.
So PNM people, where are you all from tonight? Shout the area you're from. Shout the area you're from. We have people from every corner of Trinidad and Tobago. But here we are tonight, Laurel, in the house established by the father of the nation and the father of the People's National Movement, Dr. Eric Williams. We are here in the city of Port of Spain, the city that they are trying to starve, the city that they are trying to make fall. But this is our capital city. Port of Spain people, are you here? So to welcome us formally this evening, please put your hands together for His Worship, the Mayor of Port of Spain, Alderman Chinua Allen. Put your hands together for our Mayor.
Cross any ocean to find it. Won't let no mountain get in the way. Hey. We come across the water, been through the fire. I know that my heart will show me the way. Everywhere you turn, you see people smiling. We don't see no creed and race. Don't want nobody tell me about leaving. We fight for it and this is the place. Take me home. Take me home. Take me to a place where my heart don't feel no pain. Take me home. Take me home.
Ladies and gentlemen, I really feel that that song is the best song for this moment. That song is the best song for this moment because all across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago, the people on the ground are saying, take me back home into the warm, loving, and benevolent embrace of the People's National Movement. They want to come back home. Permit me simply to recognize tonight the political leader of the People's National Movement and the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honourable Pennelope Beckles Robinson. Party officers, members of the General Council, and all of our party members that have gathered tonight at the home of democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. We are gathered tonight under some very difficult circumstances. The same circumstances that you have in your house are the same difficult circumstances here in BALISIER House. Wherever you all live, you know that there's somebody that you know, somebody in your community, somebody in your circle, somebody that has been negatively impacted by this wicked government. somebody who has found themselves after the events of April 28th through no fault of their own, simply because they want to put on a red jersey and support the PNM, simply because they want to be able to exercise their democratic rights in what continues supposed to be a democratic country, simply because they dare to open their mouths on social media. They find themselves under difficult circumstances where we want you to know that your difficulty is our difficulty. That you are not facing those circumstances alone. We here in the PNM recognize the challenges that you face because we face those same challenges too. We face those challenges as well in local government. You all would have heard me speak on multiple occasions about the victimization that the people of Port of Spain currently face where our budget is concerned. It is not only us here in Port of Spain that are facing that victimization, but if you speak with the mayor of Diego Martin, the mayor of Diego Martin will tell you that in Diego Martin too, they are feeling that victimization. If you speak to the mayor of Point Fortin, he will tell you as well that in Point Fortin, the people of Point Fortin are also under strain. If you speak to my neighbor in Sour Lavantil, the chairman of the Sour Lavantil Regional Corporation, he as well will say that the people in Lavantil are facing the strain because of the decisions of this government. But we are not prepared to give up. We recognize that so many of you have lost your jobs, so many of you have lost your access to opportunity, and now so many of you are starting to lose hope. But we are asking you to continue to support us here in the PNM. Continue to support us here in the PNM. Do not lose hope that in the not too distant future, you will have the opportunity to correct what will go down in history as a historical wrong. You will have the opportunity to use your voting finger on the next occasion, and the next occasion that is coming up here in Trinidad is the local government election. That local government election will be a referendum on the performance of this government. So we are asking all of you to continue to keep the faith, continue to keep hope, continue to hold strain, continue to support your members of parliament, support your local government representatives, your councillors and aldermen all across Trinidad. Organize yourselves and organize with us so that we can save this country from the path that the country is going down. In your community, you're seeing bush growing everywhere. Places where you see grass growing in the last 20 years is bush tall like me. I want to put you on notice that as the CPEP program has been brought to an end, many people don't understand the strategic genius of that program. That was a social program targeted mainly towards single mothers in communities, so that single mothers will be able to look after their families and be able to maintain their dignity. We are in the time now where we have to buy things for school. We have to pay registration for our children. We have school books and supplies to buy. We have all sorts of things that we have to do. But in addition to that social aspect, that program also had a significant public health benefit. When is the last time you heard in this country a very loud hue and cry about issues with dengue? When is the last time? You remember several years ago, every single year, you would hear about dengue outbreaks in the country. Part of the reason that that has come to an end is because we've been maintaining the country. We've been cutting all of the grass all over our communities, eradicating the breeding sites for mosquitoes. So I would say to you, don't be surprised if in the not too distant future, you see an increase in the mosquito population. I'm sure if some of you pull up your shirt sleeve, you're done getting bite up already. that is as a direct result of the decisions of this government. They took a decision that was targeted towards victimizing you in your pocket, and they also victimizing you with your health. But fear not, an opportunity is coming soon, as I said, to right that historical wrong. You will have the opportunity to use your voting finger and to tell this government exactly where to get off. You will have the opportunity to do that. And we in the PNM will be here to support you and to bring this country back on the path to good governance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the city of Port of Spain. Welcome to BALISIER House, the home of democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. We are very happy to have all of you here in your large numbers for this political meeting tonight. And we're looking forward to your continued support as we defend the democracy all across this country. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and God bless.
Take me home. Take me home.
The mayor of the city of Port of Spain is worship Alderman Chinua Allen. The People's National Movement has always been a party where the youth have a place. Look at all of the programs that Foster Cummings led when he was Minister of Youth Development and National Service. Now, we see the closing of the youth agricultural programs. We see the closing of CCC. We see the closing of MyLat. And we see all of these things that young people would have benefited from being canceled. I remind you tonight, the People's National Movement is the place for young people in Trinidad and Tobago to grow to their highest heights, especially when it comes to governance. Our mayor, Chinua Allen, a product of the National Youth League, the PNM Youth League. Laurel Lezama, a product of the People's National Movement Youth League. Foster Cummings, a product of it. Kareem Marcel, a product of it. And tonight, PNM people, we are the party that takes care of the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. Make some noise for our Youth League chairman, Mr. Patrick Phillips.
I'm moving everywhere with me, family. With me, family. When we come to
PNM family, good evening. Now we can do better than that. PNM family, good evening. Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, let me hear you make some noise for the People's National Movement. To our political leader, leader of the opposition, and member of parliament for Arima, the Honourable Pennelope Beckles Robinson, our next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Party chairman, general secretary, members of the party's leadership, members of the movement. Allow me to also recognize the hard-working member of parliament for Laventille West, my youth officer, our youth officer, the Honourable Kareem Marcel, members of the 41 constituency youth leagues. Good evening, PNM family. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is not just another political meeting. Tonight is a call to action, a call to courage, a call to the young people of Trinidad and Tobago, and you, every single member of the Red Army of the People's National Movement. Because we are living in a time that demands proper governance, ladies and gentlemen, honesty, stability, and accountability. Do you think that the UNC has either of those traits? Not one, ladies and gentlemen. And what we need is the return of the People's National Movement. Are you ready for that call, ladies and gentlemen? So let me ask you a simple question here tonight. Do you really think they know our history in the PNM? Do you think they know of the sacrifices of Dr. Eric Eustace Williams, George Michael Chambers, Patrick Augustus Mervyn Manning, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, and now Pennelope Beckles Robinson? They have no clue, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, they don't know of the thousands of young people whose lives have been changed because of the PNM. They believe that the PNM was the right choice. And no matter what this government do, they could never erase the history of the People's National Movement. Brothers and sisters, win, lose, or draw, we are the PNM. And no amount of bitter, vindictive, callous politicians can ever keep the BALISIER down. So all I have to say to them on the other side, keep your hands off the PNM and BALISIER House. Young people, we must know our history. We must understand our history. And when people try to rewrite that history, we must be prepared to defend in truth and transparency, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why we are here tonight. Because a 70-year legacy cannot be erased by a jealous fly-by-night pickup side like the United National Congress. The PNM is a movement rich in history, a movement rich in legacy, a movement that has given generations of young people a chance to learn, to train, to work, to serve, and now, even like yours truly, to lead and represent the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We defend the PNM not just because we know our party is not perfect. We aren't the perfect in the perfect sense of the word, but I'm sure we are better than those on the other side. And we defend our political organization because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, the PNM, as the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago know, we are the only political organization that has dealt with the affairs of the people of Trinidad and Tobago with purpose, ladies and gentlemen. We in the PNM understand that the government must do more than make promises. Let me ask you all something. You remember when Tax Coup stood up in the parliament and said promises made? Well, that was rubbish. Well enough rubbish, because certainly promises were not kept. And that brings me to the reality facing young people today. Under this UNC administration, the Ministry of Youth Development has lost its vision. Programs that serve young people, programs like Amplify, gone. Youth Agricultural Homestead Program, gone. Youth Agricultural Shade House Program, gone. Youth and Women in Agriculture, gone. Youth Tech, gone. All Set, gone. CCC, gone. Milot, gone. Every single thing that has a trace of the PNM and dealt with the development of young people, they have touched it and removed it. But guess what? Under the leadership, when that time comes, Pennelope Beckles Robinson will return every single one. These were not just names on a government document. These were opportunities. These were skills. All of these would have been careers and programs aimed at advancing our young people. Ladies and gentlemen, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I could stand here all night and talk about the nonsense this UNC government is doing. Time may not permit, but allow me to say this. You know what is the problem with the Ministry of Youth? What is the problem? What is the problem? And no matter what he say, no how much ball he tried to kick to show that he's doing something, he can't hold a candlestick next to Senator Foster Cummings. He ain't ready yet. He ain't ready yet. And I would say tonight, my brothers and sisters, I would say tonight, we the young people are fed up. We are fed up. They say it's only 1 year too long. It's time to cut them short. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish they call it now. In the words of my brother Kareem, I'm praying and kneeling. We going down and we asking, take God out of your thought and call the election in the morning. Call it now. Whether it's morning, noon, or night, today, tomorrow, or next year, the PNM will be counted. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say as I close, allow me to say, pretty soon, when we elect our next Prime Minister, in Pennelope Beckles Robinson. Because we know what they don't like to admit, that this penny have value. And that is a problem. But here I want to tell them, for Trinidad and Tobago to grow, Philip Watts must go. For Trinidad and Tobago to grow, the Alexander twins must go. For Trinidad and Tobago to grow, Barry Padarat must go. For Trinidad and Tobago to grow, John Jeremy Shaw had to go. For Trinidad and Tobago to grow, we know for sure Kamala Prasad Bisesa must go. And as I say that, my brothers and sisters, I tell you here tonight, call it now. Call the elections now. And when that time has come, we will shout in one accord, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail. Thank you.
Tranquility Street, if you know the future of the PNM and the future of Trinidad and Tobago are in good hands, make some noise for the chairman of the National Youth League, Senator Patrick Phillips. Anybody here from Mayaro? Mayaro, you are well represented. And in a few years' time, you will be well represented again, ladies and gentlemen. And we're staying in the East Coast, but we're moving up a little to the north. He burst onto the political scene in 2025 as a candidate for the constituency of Kumoto Manzanilla. He roused spirits throughout the length and breadth of the country. He mobilized the people in Kumoto. He mobilized the people in Grandi. He mobilized the people in Port of Spain. He mobilized so much he became a deputy political leader with responsibility for policy of the People's National Movement. An attorney at law by profession, a husband, a father, and an outstanding young national. PNM, please welcome Senator Sanjiv Boodhu.
PNM people, good evening. Oh boy, as far as the eye could see, the place red, 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 red. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM, and we shall prevail. Ladies and gentlemen, I recognize the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Pennelope Beckles Robinson. I recognize also party chairman, vice chairman, lady vice chairman, general secretary, officers of the movement, former officers of the movement, chairmen, mayors, members of local government, members of parliament, members of the Senate, chairmen of constituencies, chairmen of party groups, ladies and gentlemen, and the members of the PNM family, good evening to each and every one of you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have serious, serious business at hand. That's right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this evening, I do not stand before you only as a member of the PNM this evening. I stand before you and I stand with you as a concerned citizen in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I, like you, am a child of this country. I am a son of this republic. I am a lawyer that swore an oath to act according to the law of Trinidad and Tobago, to uphold the law, to uphold the Constitution. And I have never forgotten what that oath means, because I am a PNM, and that is what we are about in the PNM. So I stand there as a Trinbagonian who refuses to accept that fear must become the new normal. Because there comes a moment in the life of every democracy when ordinary politics must give way to something greater. A moment when the question is no longer which party do you support. The question becomes, What kind of country do we intend to leave our children? At that moment, ladies and gentlemen, is now, tonight, here at BALISIER House, the people's house, in this generation. And the first thing I call for from this platform here tonight is the immediate resignation of the Minister of Homeland Security. This government's abhorrent mishandling of the arrests and detentions of the Hadids and close to 500 of our citizens has already cost this country, our citizens who do not have jobs, our citizens who do not have the ability to buy books for their children, our citizens who do not have the ability to pay rents and mortgages at this time. It is our citizens that have to now spend millions of dollars in legal fees for imported UK council and local UNC council who are friends and family and state board chairman. That is the millions of dollars that you and I have to spend now. And not to mention the millions of dollars in damages that the state may have to pay to any person found to be unlawfully or unconstitutionally or unfairly detained without due process and without cause. And further to all of that, the Minister of Homeland Security has made several public misstatements, beginning with him suggesting that it is the police and not him that is responsible for issuing PDOs. And the public, his public criticism of the SOE Review Tribunal that he himself established. And he has accused them of not informing him of a hearing and not allowing him to make submissions. That is something extremely alarming if it is true. But I have doubts as to whether it is true, because it is my own experience appearing before that tribunal that the Minister of Homeland Security is represented by attorneys retained by the state at a cost to you, the taxpayer. And of course, the most significant impact all of this has had is that the public has lost all trust and confidence in the protective arms of the state as a result of this scandal. No one in Trinidad and Tobago feels safe to comment on any matter of public interest anymore, because this government has demonstrated by their strongman antics that it will stop at nothing to silence any Protestant voice, any dissenting voice, any disagreeing voice, and let's be real, any non-UNC voice, any person that can be arguably considered to have a difference of opinion, or any person at all, just on their whim and fancy, is in danger. And we live in dangerous times, ladies and gentlemen. And the Minister of Homeland Security, the Minister of Defense, the Attorney General, and the Prime Minister have all contributed to the danger that is felt and experienced by the man and woman in the street, by the youngsters, by the business community, even by children. Everyone expresses concern and fear anywhere you go in this country. So I have a message. Resign now, Minister of Homeland Security, and take the Minister of Defense with you, and take the Attorney General with you, and take the Prime Minister with you one time. Our Constitution permits the sitting government to declare a period of public emergency under certain circumstances. And a state of public emergency empowers the government to suspend our fundamental rights, the same rights that the same government has an obligation to protect. But it is always the duty of the state to address dangers to the safety of the public. The purpose of declaring an SOE is to enable the executive to make emergency laws and assume exceptional powers under Section 7 of the Constitution. And that would indicate that the emergency must be exceptional in the sense that the normal police powers, the normal powers that are available to the state are inadequate to deal with the situation. The normal powers available to the state are inadequate to deal with the situation. Those words suggest that a state of emergency must only exist where the police by exercising their normal policing powers, cannot control crime. Now, given that we are under a state of emergency for over a year, has the government admitted that the police is incapable of protecting the citizens? And if that is the case, what is being done about it? What is this government doing to restore the police's ability to protect the public? And we all know the answer. It is nothing. There is simply nothing being done to improve the effectiveness of the protective services. We have heard nothing of a new policing policy or a restructuring of the body of law that deals with policing and crime. So more than a year of SOE, and the murder rate is almost the same as the murder rate for 2025. There were 57 PDOs published this month alone in July, and we're not finished with the month yet, with 464 PDOs published up till the 21st of July 2026. That is 464 of our citizens that are detained pursuant to emergency powers, decisions of one man, the Minister of Homeland Security. Now, if we have 464 people arrested and detained under emergency powers, how can we have had 232 murders to date? How is that possible? Who are you locking up? Because it can't be murderers all you're locking up. If it is you're locking up murderers to the number of 500, how you have 232 murders? Or is it that you're locking up those who are opposed to the UNC? The government is using and will continue to use state power and state resources to persecute its political enemies. The country can conclude nothing else. CPEP, URP, reforestation, contractors, contract staff in ministries and state enterprises, public servants, and many of those detained under the SOE are all victims of political persecution, political punishment, and an exercise of tyrannical power over the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And it is time, ladies and gentlemen, that we say enough is enough. We will not tolerate this any further. You see, history in this country has taught us a very, very hard truth. Democracies seldom disappear in one dramatic act, you know. Democracies don't always disappear with tanks in the street or with an outbreak of war. There is hardly a single dawn that comes where freedom vanishes overnight. Ladies and gentlemen, democracies disappear one exception at a time, one justification at a time, one exercise of state power against the people at a time, and one voice silenced at a time. It is by one frightened citizen at a time, until one day a people wake up and wonder, where did their freedom go? Unable to name the single moment it was taken, because it was never taken all at once. It was given away quietly in pieces out of fear. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not enter public life to participate in that kind of surrender. And the PNM was not founded on democratic principles for nation building, for us to sit back and witness our people surrender. The Constitution of this country was not written for easy days. It was written for difficult times, for times like what we are experiencing now. And it was written to remind every government, including the next PNM government, that even when confronting genuine threats to public safety, power must still be exercised within the rule of law, and that extraordinary powers must remain exceptional and not become the ordinary way of governing. The state has a duty to protect the public, yes, but constitutional freedoms remain fundamental, and emergency powers demand restraint, not routine. No government should ever ask a free people to believe that liberty and security are enemies. Liberty and security are not enemies, they are partners. And any leader who tells you otherwise is asking you to choose between two things that you are entitled to have together. So I want you to look around our beloved country today, or pick up a newspaper today, and you would have seen our people are anxious. Families worry about jobs that they may lose tomorrow. Businesses are struggling to keep their staff. Communities continue to bury their dead, even as security operations continue under the state of emergency. Murders continue, 232 to date. Fear continues, and our people are exhausted by both the violence and the uncertainty of what comes next or who gets in lockup next. Trinidad and Tobago deserves honesty. And if our policy is succeeding, explain to us how and show us the evidence. And if it is not, have the courage and the decency to say so and the humility to change course. Because leadership is not about pretending that every problem has been solved. Leadership is telling the truth even when the truth is inconvenient or hard. And tonight, I say to every citizen in this country, whether you support the PNM or you do not, your rights matter, your dignity matters, your voice matters. This is not about one political party. This is about the character of our country. And it is the character that we will hand down, either intact or diminished, to every child that is born in this country after us. Because if constitutional principles are weakened for one citizen today, then they can be weakened for me or for you tomorrow. And if one government expands its power without accountability, then every government follows that precedent. And one day, a government you do not trust will reach for the very powers that we have allowed because no one stopped them when it was time to stop them. And this UNC government is doing exactly that. And we saw this movie before, you know. Well, remember 2011? Thousands of people in 2011 were arrested without charge. And the Privy Council still have appeals before it on claims made by those detainees against the state. And now the UNC come back for part 2. And this part 2 is significantly worse than part 1. And that is why our vigilance in the PNM is important. Vigilance is patriotism. It is the highest form of patriotism there is. I love this country too much to believe our future is destined to be a future of fear. I refuse to believe that the greatest generation Trinidad and Tobago can produce is behind us. You all know that the leadership of this PNM is on the move, led by Pennelope Beckles. We are visiting every part of the country. And everywhere we go, and in my communities of Bish and Manzanilla and Komoto and Toko and Sangre Grande, I see young people building businesses with nothing but grit and a dream. I see teachers giving everything to children who deserve everything that they can get. I see and you see police officers who put on their uniform and risk their lives even in neighborhoods and communities that fear does not spare. We all see the doctors and the nurses and the farmers who wake up before the cock crow. We all know construction workers with unbroken pride and students who still believe an education here in Trinidad and Tobago is worth the sacrifice. We all see the mothers and fathers who ask for nothing extraordinary, only a fair chance for their children to strive and thrive. And the people of Trinidad and Tobago do ask for miracles. What we ask for is for competent governance, for justice that does not depend on who you know, for opportunity that does not depend on whether you have a UNC party card. We demand respect from the institutions meant to serve us. So to those of you who feel discouraged tonight, I want you to listen to us very clearly. Never surrender your belief in Trinidad and Tobago. Because governments change, policies change, ministers come and go, but the spirit of our people in Trinidad and Tobago that has endured civil unrest, that has endured recession, that has endured every trial that this Twin Island Republic has ever faced. We have overcome it before, We will overcome it again. Because the People's National Movement was founded on a belief, ladies and gentlemen, that every citizen deserves dignity, opportunity, and hope. Not some citizens, every citizen. PNM's founding promise does not belong to us alone in the PNM. It belongs to the country. The interracial solidarity in the interest of upliftment of every man, woman, and child that calls Trinidad and Tobago home. So tonight, whether you support us or not, I invite every citizen watching, listening, here at BALISIER House and in your homes. I invite you to defend something larger than any political party. I invite you to defend the Constitution. Defend our democratic institutions. Defend the right to disagree without being called an enemy of the state. Defend the right of every Trinbagonian to speak without fear. Defend the simple, non-negotiable idea that government exists to serve the people and never that the people exist to serve a government. We reject hatred. We reject division. We reject political victimization, and we reject the weaponization of state institutions against the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Let us build a nation where strength is measured not by how much a government can seize, but how faithfully that government protects the liberty of its people. Now, in the interest of time, I will close, and I say in closing that Trinidad and Tobago is ours. This is your country, and this is my country. It is home. Trinidad and Tobago has defended us, and now it is time for us to defend Trinidad and Tobago. So no more oppression, no more victimization, no more fear. We stand against it. We rise against it. Together, we will save Trinidad and Tobago, because we in the PNM believe that great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail. May God bless Trinidad and Tobago.
My mortgage done pay, so come and jump in my house if you want. Get on bad in here if you want.
PNM people, you all know we are the only party to contest every seat in every election in Trinidad and Tobago. We do not hide behind people. We say it with our chests. We are red and ready, and we are PNM. Our next speaker was the representative for Tobago West. She was a minister of sport and culture, and sport and community development. And under sport and community development, many international tournaments came to Trinidad and Tobago. She's the woman in 2020 told us, we are red and ready. And tonight, representing Tobago and representing the People's National Movement, welcome my sister, Shamfa Cudjoe-Lewis.
I am a lion, yes, I'm a fighter. For my poke, yes, I'll be the writer. Blaze up your fire, miss it, raise your lighter. Brighter, come again.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The People's National Movement, PNM friends and family, you look beautiful tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's good to be here. It is good to be with family. My brothers and sisters, Tobago is in the house indeed. And tonight, I want to start by reminding you of this. The first responsibility that devolves upon you is the protection and promotion of your democracy. Democracy means more, much more than the right to vote, and one vote for every man and every woman of the prescribed age. Democracy means recognition of the rights of others. Democracy means equality of opportunity for all. Democracy means the protection of the weak against the strong. Brothers and sisters, these aren't my words. These are the words of our founding father, Dr. Eric Eustace Williams. And he said, all that is democracy. I join by saying that all that is all democracy, to which each and every one of you are called upon to dedicate yourself. Party chairman, Madam Political Leader, Mrs. Pennelope Beckles Robinson, my fellow members of the PNM Executive, Deputy Political Leaders, officers of the movement, representatives of the media, right-thinking citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, those who are here with us and those tune in, good night and welcome. Brothers and sisters, many will say that we have called you to BALISIER House to stand up for the party. Some may say we call you to protest the SOE, while some may say we came here to close ranks, to defend our country. All that is true, but I want to say it in a more simple fashion. We are gathered here to rally right-thinking Trinbagonians in solidarity to protect and preserve our human dignity and to stand 10 toes down in defense of our democracy. Today, as we stand the nation, so many persons have questions, but are afraid to speak. The place not only hard, it heavy, it dark, it bleak. Professionals and institutions at all levels are facing serious problems in the execution of their duties. They witness and endure all types of atrocities that threaten accountability, transparency, and the pillars of our good old democracy, to which every citizen must commit. They face each day with a new code of silence, signaling that they are fearful, and in some cases, they are even compromised. Life and governance under the UNC is certainly not what they imagine, but they have danced with the devil. And now water is more than flour. There is no officer or institution to confidently turn to. We have lost our bearings, and some may say we are in too deep. All across Trinidad and Tobago. And I'll tell you, in Tobago, we feel it too. Because in the Farley-led TPP administration, there's no exception. To the point where Tomo has told us that the TPP is one with the government, and he couldn't be more precise. So today, Tobagonians face a myriad of problems, but our THA has lost its vigor and its voice. And contrary to the bark and bite that was meted out to the People's National Movement, Tobago is forced to accept no accountability, no transparency, and a deafening silence. No one to stand up or speak out for Tobagonians. It begs the question, is our Tobago House of Assembly fearful, or are they compromised? Are they afraid of their UNC handlers, or they are part and parcel with them? So again, I say they are compromised. Brothers and sisters, we have spent 11 out of 14 months under the UNC stewardship, living under a perpetual state of emergency. Tourism stakeholders would tell you that the already languishing tourism industry is almost dead. Yet our Tobago East and Tobago West MPs, alongside our Chief Secretary, the same ones entrusted to stand up for us, have fully supported and facilitated the extension of a self-inflicted travel advisory called a state of emergency. And then on top of that, the Chief Secretary had the audacity to introduce a hiring freeze. Just like the UNC, the TPP must take full responsibility for the stagnation of the Tobago economy. And what do we get from our Chief Secretary? from our MPs, Tobago West and Tobago East, silence, deafening silence. In similar fashion, the UNC foisted upon Tobagoanians the Blue Wave Harmony cargo vessel, brought to us in March 2026, only 4 months ago, unfit for purpose, security and safety problems. Truckers have been complaining for months about having to use porta potties because the toilets are dysfunctional and they are unable to use the cabins because of problems with the cooling system. And I asked, where is our chief secretary? Where is that back he used to have for Dr. Rowley? And I asked, where are the representatives of our Tobago House of Assembly? Afraid of the UNC and completely compromised indeed. They gave us a military radar for Christmas, not a word from them. After claiming that they have been allocated the largest budget in history, they are now crying out, no money, no money, no money. Tobago heritage workers of last year still have not been paid. Carnival stakeholders of last year, October Carnival, still have not been paid. Lambo fisher folk who suffered throughout the oil spill in 2024 to this day in 2026 against the backdrop of the largest budget in the Tobago House of Assembly history, they still have not been paid. And it begs the question, is it that the Tobago House of Assembly got their allocations from the UNC and refused to share it with Tobagoanians? Or is it that they were promised, didn't get it, and they can't say nothing? Crime on the rise, and they won't cry out. This SOE is not working for us. This SOE does not serve us in Tobago. This SOE does not benefit Tobagoanians in any way, form, or fashion. It does not support our economy, and it has done its part in tolling the death knell of our tourism industry. But our Tobago House of Assembly is not prepared to stand up or speak out in our defense. So we ask, are they fearful or are they fully compromised? Those who were elected to safeguard us are no longer on our side. And I'm sure you would agree with me that the response of the Tobago House of Assembly is markedly different from the vitriol we experienced under the former PNM administration. Don't you think so? But as the old people say, silence is consent, and the upholder is worse than the thief. I tell you, Tobagoanians are setting for them. And by now, we know that the state of emergency and the SOE and the emergency powers are not about reducing crime or promoting safety and security. We don't believe that there is any death threat. At least I don't believe that. Just a pack of petty, pitiful UNC jokers seeking to fully intimidate citizens for their own entertainment and to keep the peace after they have broken every single promise. So rather than fixing the country and delivering to our citizens, rather than working on affordable health care, education, and housing for our people, they have no plan, and they have danced with the devil. So we all now have to settle for SOE after SOE while they try to keep the peace. And the displacement and mass firings, the pain that it is causing to our people, and the way our institutions are being emasculated and weakened daily. Even trade unions are afraid to speak. And whatever happened to the gatekeeping organizations? Columnists have disappeared, and many activists have gone completely silent. We cannot ignore this, brothers and sisters. In essence, they are saying that whatever has happened to people like the Hadids can also happen to me. And I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, I am not referring to the fact that Mr. Hadid might be a well-to-do businessman, But I am looking at the fact that the avenues through which citizens ought to seek recourse or justice are at loggerheads with a heavy-handed, iron-fisted, unreasonable, petty, and wicked UNC government. The oppressor is at loggerheads with the oppressed. So here we have a case where you have a citizen who has been locked away and placed under PDO, not charged. Put yourself in these person's shoes, where you may know you're innocent. The tribunal says that there's no justification. The court says that there is no justification, but the minister disregards that. And as Gary Griffith said, this minister may be the most powerful person in the country, because he could wake up on any given day and choose not to comply with the courts, not to comply with the law, and to lock you away for his own entertainment. That is the country that we are living in, brothers and sisters. Are you happy with that? It speaks to the cynicism on the part of the central government, which is also imitated by all Tobago House of Assembly. You see, they do these things knowing fully well that they are woefully wrong. They are breaking the law. They are defying good sense. They are decimating our democracy and destroying people's lives. But what do they care? They are hell-bent on achieving their objectives by any and every means necessary. Whether that objective is to humiliate you because you look and sound PNM, to punish you for challenging their agenda. We have to ask ourselves these questions, because in the case of the Tobago House of Assembly, where workers were unjustifiably released, the powers that be, they know that they have erred, but they tell themselves that this is not their money. This is not their money, so they are willing to operate haphazardly. Taxpayers will pay. They know that by the time justice is served, they would be out of office. But what is most important, their objective is being achieved. Whether it is to humiliate, whether it is to punish, or to simply say to the rest of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, this is what is going to happen to you if you mess with me. So mess around and find out. And in the same case, and in similar case of the central government, yet to prove that there is a threat. And no matter how much money that they have spent, they know that it is taxpayers' dollars. So this legal team that handled the matter today and lost bitterly, they were buffed and embarrassed, and they deserve that. But guess what? It is on the backs and the pockets of the taxpayers that have to pay those exorbitant fees. So brothers and sisters, for those of you sitting in your corner and thinking that this is a matter about the Hadids, this is also about your taxpayers' dollars. This is also about your monies. So this is your business. This is your business, brothers and sisters, and I say so much for our rights and freedoms as it relates to living under democracy. I say to you, you're big and you have sense. You're seeing it. You know it. Tobagonians will tell you about the situation where you have some workers who won their case in the court. They were relieved by the Tobago House of Assembly, and the High Court said that they must pay. But Falia and his friends have decided to push it to the limit. And they know that they are wrong, and they know that they are not going to eventually win, but the whole objective is to punish and to humiliate. Today, it was a little different because justice was served in some case. Now imagine 500 plus persons locked away for no apparent reason, and we wonder why columnists, technocrats, and I even want to call out permanent secretaries who are turning a blind eye, and all of a sudden you forget the rule book. Because when the PNM in power, you're sure to pull out the rule book to tell us what we cannot do. And now Kamala and her minions are in your face. They hiring people, sending people to the job with no approval of department heads and their permanent secretaries. Ask the people in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development who have to wake up to new best village officers, selected by the minister, sent to the job by the minister, no assumption of duties, nothing, no arrangement as to how they're going to get paid, but they are on the job and they are told that they are not to report to the substantive supervisor. They are reporting to the minister's secretariat. If the PNM did try that, people would have tell us about what's in the public service regulations. And I say to the permanent secretaries, you cannot afford to cower. I say to the technocrats in the different institutions, you have to push back because you are not there for yourselves. You are there to defend the people. We, the people, the tax-paying people of Trinidad and Tobago. So when the Minister of Community Development and Culture bypasses or overrides the procurement process in the ministry and sends her own cleaners and caterers, they report to the job with no paperwork whatsoever. And I asked the permanent secretaries, I asked the department heads, who paying them? Who's signing off to pay them? Because I tell you, brothers and sisters, we are being distracted by all kind of other bacchanal. But what they need to explain to us is what they are doing with taxpayers' dollars and why public servants are being asked to report to MPs' offices. Public servants are supposed to be non-political, so what they're doing, taking instruction from the office of an MP. And your little imps and pipsqueaks and them instructing permanent secretary and instructing people who are public servants. These are the real issues. These are the real issues. So when we stand here tonight, it's not only about BALISIER House. It is about our rights, our freedoms, our liberty, our democracy. Again, I say our liberty. The national anthem says, forged from the love of liberty, the love of that freedom to do what we want to do and be who we want to be as a people, in purpose and in pride, in the fires of hope and prayer. Because our grandparents and our parents didn't get to do the things that we are getting to do now. So each and every one of us must take that responsibility seriously. So this is bigger than BALISIER House, bigger than the People's National Movement. This is about our country, and therefore it's a clarion call for every single right-thinking citizen to stand up and defend our democracy, not only for ourselves, but for our children and our children's children. This is about unity of all those who want the best for Trinidad and Tobago. I tell you, brothers and sisters, it is our duty to stay focused, to block out the noise and to figure out how are we going to save our country. That must be the conversation in your kitchen. That must be the conversation in your office. That must be the conversation on your work site. You see where we are. What are we going to do, each and every one of you and you and you? What are you prepared to do to save your country? Because Penny can't do it alone. Shamfa can't do it alone. It falls on each and every one of us. Because if we are not having the conversation about saving Trinidad and Tobago, preserving our democracy, safeguarding our economy, and protecting our treasury, brothers and sisters, then we are walking in our sleep. And as much as we sleepwalk, the Minister of Finance could withdraw $510 million from our Heritage and Stabilization Fund, and we saying nothing. And I tell you again that if we do not wake up, we are sleepwalking, because the Minister of Finance is set ready to borrow on the international capital market, $750 million US. Who's gonna pay back that loan? Who gonna have to tighten the belt because they spend freely when they are there, and when it's time to pay back, we come in power and we trying to tell you to tighten your belt. So we should be crying out right now. We cannot afford to cower, and we cannot afford to be sleepwalking. Do you know how many people around the world are looking at Trinidad and Tobago in awe, wondering what's going on with them people? Some of them disgusted, and some of them even laughing. We have become a laughing stock in the Caribbean. We used to be a shining light. We used to be the big bad Trinidad and Tobago. Whenever we touch down, everybody respect us. Now look at us. A laughing stock. Are we going to sit down in our corners, keep our mouth shut, and take that because we're afraid of PDO? Any power the government have should be given by the governed. I say again, any power the government have must be given by the governed. And if they're using powers that were not granted to them by the governed, then they have turned themselves into oppressors. And I'm saying right now that at this point, the oppressors is as loggerheads with the oppressed. What are we prepared to do? When you have no press conference for months, you think Dr. Rowley could have tried that? No press conference for months, no report to the people. You have the Minister of Public Utilities taking pictures of little boys in Parliament, intimidating and bullying them. You can't allow that to die. You can't allow that to die because it is after that they came with this BALISIER house thing. Hold Padarat to account, brothers and sisters. Instead of focusing on building Trinidad and Tobago, they're trying to be cheerleader for Trump. They're copying things that not even working in America. They have no plan. They have no direction. And I'm saying to you, brothers and sisters, we are better than this. And I know there are many who are saying, this is what Trinidad and Tobago go on, and we just have to take that. But I say to you, we the people must decide the kind of country we want, the kind of place we want to live in, and where we want to raise our children. And I say to you, we have to be prepared to ensure we make the changes, and in the spirit of John Lewis, that great civil rights leader, we have to find a way to get in the way. And some people may say we're looking for trouble, but I say to you, when it comes to your country, your children, your future, your dignity, your liberty, your job, your house, your children, then some trouble is good trouble. And some trouble is necessary trouble. So when we embark on this, we do this from a place of love, of good reason, non-violence, purpose, and peace. But whatever we do, we must never give up or give in. We have come too far and contributed too much to throw in the towel. We will not accept this fate, that this is just the way Trinidad and Tobago is. I say to you, we all have our work to do. You, every single one of you. I stand before you tonight with a moral obligation, a mission and a mandate to rally every single right-thinking citizen. Take your rightful place. The battle is yours and nobody else's. Nobody will come to save us. We must save ourselves. And if not us, then who? And if not now, well, when, brothers and sisters? I say to you, we have to stand up. We have to stand up. We have to stand up and fight. Just like you, I represent the dreams and the aspirations of my parents and grandparents. My grandmother was a seamstress and she wanted to be a diplomat but never got the chance to go to secondary school. And I remember sitting at her feet as she sewed on a Sunday and I would read the papers. And she would get excited when I go to international news in the back, because that was her thing. Today I stand before you, the holder of a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in international affairs. Thanks to the People's National Movement. And I stand here alongside people like Jelani Reid, a medical doctor. Thanks to the People's National Movement. And I stand here alongside Carrie Marcel, a lawyer. Thanks to the People's National Movement. And I say to you that this, every single one of us, we stand here as a reflection of the dreams and aspirations of our parents and grandparents. So anybody telling you this is simply about BALISIER House, this is about history, this is about legacy, this is about our contribution, this is about future generation. And I say to you, brothers and sisters, we have to close ranks and bind forces and work together. Our time is now. Trinbagonians, stand up and be counted. Our business is to restore a flame of hope, brothers and sisters. And I say, if the battle is between us and the UNC that is profiting on the pain and the pressure of the people, then we stand in the gap for the people. All the people. And BALISIER House, we all stand in defense because this is the people's house. And we stand here in defense of all those who dare to stand up for freedom. This is our country. Just as much as she thinks it's her country, this is our country too. And we have to make it peaceful for us to live and progressive so that our children can benefit. Boodhu Banton said those who can afford to run will run, but what about those who can't? They would have to stay. Opportunity is a scarce commodity. So they close MILAT, they close YAPA, they close down CPEP, they close down URP, and they expect us to stay still. I say to you, brothers and sisters, some trouble is good trouble, and some trouble is necessary trouble. So we fight. And as Dr. Williams had instructed us on the night of independence, we will make real the ideal that whatever challenge that faces us from whatever quarter, we will place first the national interest and the national cause for the benefit of not just some but for all. This fight is for our children. This fight is for our country. This fight is for freedom or dignity or liberty. So with boundless faith in our destiny, we trod on, and it will not be easy. We will overcome. I say to those of you, the church folks in your office, that they say, me, I can stay home and pray. I wish all you well. And I say to you, faith without works is dead. I have a friend who used to tell me resistance against the oppressor is obedience to God. I say resistance against the oppressor is obedience to God, and nothing works but works. And I'm from the most humble among us. For those who say I may be trying to incite or instill in you a fighting spirit, I bring you words from the most peaceful among us. Late Nelson Mandela, and he said a freedom fighter learns the hard way that it is the oppressor who defines the nature of the struggle, and the oppressed is often left no recourse but to use methods that mirror those of the oppressor. And at that point, one can only fight fire with fire. Right thinking citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, your time is now. And the fight for our future is right now at this moment, in this minute. For our party, for our purpose, for our people. We're ready to get into some good trouble. Community by community, we are taking back our country. You have work to do. You have work to do. You have work to do, and every single one of you, you have work to do too. And we are standing at the forefront with you. No retreat, no surrender. The weapons may form, but they shall not prosper. Stronger together, PNM forever and ever. We will not cower, we will not fail. Great is the PNM and it shall prevail. I say, great is the PNM and it shall prevail. Brothers and sisters from north, south, east and west, this is our time. This is our moment. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM and we shall prevail. I thank you.
Some of them want to see you proud. Some of them rather see you on the ground. Some of them hate.
The battle is now, and the battle is for our children, and the battle is for our future. Are you ready, PNM? And I want you to stay in this fighting mode because now we welcome the General of the Red Army. He worked his way through the ranks of the party from the Youth League and held various positions on the National Executive. He has been serving in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago since 2007, first as a senator. In 2020, he entered the House of Representatives as the Member of Parliament for Lahoketa Talparu. In 2025, he returned to the Parliament as a senator. BALISIER House, would you please welcome Senator Foster Cummings.
Me no take intimidation dance. For me and the boy, me no fear man. Me no take intimidation dance. For me and the boy, me no fear man. Me no take intimidation dance. For me and the boy, me no fear man. Me no take intimidation dance. For me and the boy, me no fear man. Me no take
PNM people.
For me and the boy, me no fear man. Me no take
PNM people.
For me and the boy, me no fear man. Me no take intimidation.
We don't afraid them. His Worship the Mayor of Port of Spain, Alderman Chinua Allen, political leader of the PNM and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honourable Pennelope Beckles Robinson, Party Chairman Marvin Gonzales, Vice Chairman Dr. Amory Brown, Lady Vice Chairman Dr. Nyan Gasby Dolly, Deputy Political Leaders, call member Jennifer Baptiste Primus, Sanjiv Boodhu, and you just heard from the next Chief Secretary of Tobago, Shamfa Cudjoe-Lewis. Our Assistant General Secretary, Patricia Alexis, all other party officers, members of Parliament, senators, mayors, chairmen, councillors, aldermen, members of the Women's League of the PNM, members of the Youth League of the PNM, lifetime members of the PNM, all party members, former ministers Donna Cox, Rohan Sinanan, Anthony Garcia, Ashton Ford and Maxie Coffey, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, a special PNM good night to you. I understand there is some wrecker on Stanmore Avenue, so if you park there, make sure they're not interfering with you. 1 PNM, never 2. 1 PNM, never 2. 1 PNM, never 2. It was the psalmist David who said at Psalm 37, and I want to give you this tonight, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they will soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord, do good, so that thou shalt dwell in the land and verily shall be fed. My PNM family, before I say one word about the UNC tonight, before I speak about BALISIER House, and before I speak about this spectacle now occupying the attention of the country, I want to give every member of this movement the firm assurance that the People's National Movement is standing strong. Its officers are at their posts. Its affairs are being managed. Its attorneys are ready. Nobody inside BALISIER house is packing up any bag, searching for no back door, or negotiating any surrender of the people's national movement. We are ready and determined to defend our people, our party, and to defend our party headquarters, BALISIER House, number 1, Tranquility Street, Port of Spain, left to us by the founding father of the PNM, Dr. Eric Eustace Williams. I returned to my beautiful country of Trinidad and Tobago through Piaco recently. An accepted document served upon me, and I'm standing before you tonight in the open, speaking in my own name and the office that you have entrusted to me. You know, there's a passage in Matthew that speaks of those who are reviled, persecuted, and falsely spoken against, and which reminds us that we are the salt of the earth. The moral instruction has value whenever human character is being tested. My friends, in spite of the fact we are living in very dangerous times, you know, in spite of the fact that I haven't the knowledge that as General Secretary they were seeking to serve me, and I communicated with them on the same day saying, I'm coming back to Trinidad and Tobago. You feel free to visit me at BALISIER House at X time tomorrow and bring whatever you have for the PNM. I will collect it on behalf of the People's National Movement. And they agreed, notwithstanding that, like a thief in the night, to cause bacchanal and couture, they showed up to try and embarrass the PNM. When malice, my friends, it is bad behavior taking place under this government. My friends, our attorneys are ready. My friends, when malice finds itself temporarily cloaked in authority, courage must remain steady. When those who persecute you are waiting anxiously to see fear upon your face, you must disappoint them with your composure. Therefore, to the PNM members who have been worried, I say, stand easy. To the supporters who are angered, I say, preserve your strength. To the young persons watching this government and wondering whether association with the PNM will bring you harassment, I say, look at me carefully tonight. I am here, I am settled, and I am unafraid. The UNC, ill-advised, has made its first real mistake. A very serious mistake. They have mistaken our calmness for weakness. They're giving us pressure. They fire CPEP, they fire URP, they fire public servants, and they find we staying quiet. We're just waiting to vote you out. Call the election now. If you're so bad, forget SOE. Stop calling SOE. Call election. What we want is general election. General election. General election. Give us that. If your name, woman, call the date. We waiting. We ready. And we willing. And we waiting to vote you out and put you back in opposition where you really belong. They have seen our respect for our various institutions and assume that we have no capacity to fight. I want them to look at this crowd tonight, and this is going to be building. You took the Jepness. The Jepness, you just took the PNM Jepness, and we waiting and we ready. We watched the verdict of the electorate and they concluded that the PNM is ready to be humiliated. So they do all kind of things to the citizens. And then they say, you know what? We go take on the PNM now. I want them to understand that the political creature with which they are interfering, this PNM party has passed through severe years in the past based on our history. We faced the colonial powers, social upheaval, economic contraction, attempted insurrection, the death of our great leaders, and some exceedingly difficult electoral nights when we came here at BALISIER House to celebrate victory, but we couldn't because we were defeated. We have survived more predictions of the death of the PNM that the UNC has survived changes of name, leadership, alliance, and political partners. So I make no apology for the confidence with which I speak and with which my colleagues speak. The PNM will not be frightened by any press conference. The PNM will not be frightened by rolling states of emergencies. All the PNM is saying to you, come back to the people. If your name woman, if your name man, call the elections now. The PNM cannot be dissolved by a headline. Nobody could accuse 70 years of political organization out of existence. We are 70 years old and we are here to stay. You touch one, you touch all. Before there was a BALISIER House, there was a man who returned to Trinidad and Tobago and put down his bucket at Woodford Square. They're trying to change history. One of them say Eric Williams was not the first Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And the boy have PhD behind his name. There was a population beginning to understand that colonial rule had lasted long enough. There was a university under the trees at Woodford Square where history, economics, and government were explained to ordinary people in language that restored their dignity and sharpened their political intelligence. On January 15, 1956, the foundation members of the PNM adopted the People's Charter, ladies and gentlemen. It was made public on January 24th. The order of these events is important. The PNM began with a body of ideas, a constitution, and a program of national development. It asks what kind of country Trinidad and Tobago should become, what institutions that country would require, and how an organized people might finally take possession of their own future. That is the people's national movement. Today, some people establishing political party every Friday morning, printing jersey, and they feel that jersey and big truck with loudspeaker, picking up some candidates that the PNM reject and saying that they form party. Ladies and gentlemen, all that occurred, all that I spoke about, all the independence, the republicanism, PNM took the country to independence. 1962, PNM took the country to Republican status. 1976. It trained generations in public administration, local government, parliamentary service, diplomacy, education, and national development. Many of them who play man or woman in the UNC right now have to thank the PNM for their education. All of this occurred before the UNC even existed. The UNC only came around the scene in 1989. By the time the UNC arrived, the PNM had already led this country into independence and Republican status, as I mentioned earlier. So when certain UNC personalities speak as though they are conducting an inquiry into the legitimacy of the PNM, some perspective is required. They are attempting to lecture us on honesty and decency. You all forget them from 2010 to 2015? They run import of Spain, pick up the whole treasury and go on with it. We warned you all. We said they are coming back to do the same thing. They come in crying corruption, 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 and calling on you to agree with them that they must fire over 50,000 citizens who cannot send their children to school, who cannot buy food, who cannot pay their light bill, who cannot pay a taxi car. They do not care about the ordinary citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. This PNM that they're trying to attack was built party group by party group, constituency by constituency, women's league by women's league, youth league by youth league, from every village council. This PNM was built by the ordinary party member. From Charlottesville to Toko, from Sandy Grande to Diego Martin, from San Fernando to Cedras, all through central Trinidad and the east-west corridor. You need to tell them PNM, 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 PNM. And they don't have to like it. We are the salt of the earth. You see, in this country called Trinidad and Tobago, they envy us and they jealous. You know, when they look at BALISIER house, let me tell you something. When they look at BALISIER house, it's jealous, they're jealous. It's look like a family who extend their home and paint the front and put up a decent gallery, and the neighbor next door who never saved $5 leaning over the fence and say, I wonder where they get our money from to do that, boy. I wonder how they build that. But you have no home of your own. They throw you out a Renzi complex because you couldn't pay rent. Then you went and rent on top of a rum shop because somebody who talking to you and leading you like to drink rum. So that was the best place you find to put your office. They're wicked and bad. Then the next one, who ain't sure if he's a boy or a girl, say somebody trying to kill him. Nobody wants to kill you. And you can't tell me what water to drink either. I'm drinking what water I want, when I want, right here at BALISIER house, and you can't do nothing about it. Roxo! Roxo! Give the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago a break. Give us a break. Ease we up. Take your knee off we neck. You reckless, wicked, vile, bad. The UNC will join up with anybody to get into government. People who was cussing them the year before, calling them all kind of witch, they hung up with them now, serving in a government and doing wickedness to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. They feel power is given to persecute the people. But the PNM and Penny Beckles is here, and we will make sure and rescue Trinidad and Tobago from this vile and evil, wicked UNC government. That is why they went searching among the former PNM office holders to borrow a piece of red cloth to wrap up around the yellow accusations of lies. That's not evidence, my friends. That's what you call political recycling. I make no reckless allegation about any minister directing police investigation because I don't want to practice and condone what I am condemning. But if that is happening, it is wrong and it should stop. I hear a minister directing the police and telling the police, how come that former minister still walking around? If you want extra state security, don't go and pay nobody to say they're trying to kill you. You damn lie. I speak instead of the political symbolism being exploited. The UNC hopes that those who once sat at our table, the PNM table, can make its present malice appear better informed. It is unfortunate that anyone would accept that assignment to permit the honor once conferred upon them by the PNM to become seasoning in the pot of another party's vengeance against the very party that introduced them to service in Trinidad and Tobago. I say to them, for those who have taken up that assignment to destroy the PNM on behalf of the UNC and Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, I say to them, do not make the mistake to think that the noise of your present yellow company, don't make the mistake, the noise that they make it. Don't consider that. Consider the judgment upon you and the history, how history will record your performance under this current administration. You could change your political bench. You could change your political clothes, but you cannot change your record on the hand side of Trinidad and Tobago. You cannot erase the administration of Patrick Manning in which you previously served. You cannot carry the confidence once placed in you across the floor and claimed that you carry the BALISIER too. We're keeping our BALISIER from you. You could leave the PNM, but you can't put the PNM in your pocket and walk away with it. The PNM belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, of every creed and race, from every nook and every cranny, from Arima to Blanchishes, from La Hoqueta to Maloney, from Diego Martin to San Fernando. It's PNM, 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 PNM. What we are now called upon as a country is to examine the method by which this campaign has been conducted, this campaign of wickedness against the PNM. Because political persecution, though announce itself truthfully, it always comes beneath the language of accountability and bust corruption. And you, as honest citizens, you like the sound of that. But what they're trying to do is to distract you. So while you feel they busting corruption, they're conducting corruption of their own, $3.4 billion in one go, they try at HTC. And thank God, some of our people pick them up and shame them. But don't feel they're done, they're coming back again. My friends, the allegations move from platform to platform, then go on to parliament because they feel they can say whatever they want. Imagine they're threatening you, the citizens of this country. And if you make a little comment on social media, they're locking you up. The media are afraid to write what they should write and criticize this government, as every government has been criticized in this country before, because they are afraid of PDO. Who want to leave their family to go and sit down without charge in a prison cell? And when they really want to humiliate you, they lock up your wife too. And if you give them a chance, they lock up your pumpek. Ladies and gentlemen, a serious legal process must never require political choreography. You don't need to make up things. If you're sure of what you're doing, you don't need to try to manhandle the officers of the state to get them to do wrong thing just because you want to attack the PNM. But I want to tell them the BALISIER don't die. If you cut it, it's growing back. Ask Ashton Ford. If you burn it and fire pass, as soon as the rains come, it's BALISIER, 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 BALISIER again. And they can't take it. They can't stand us. Because they know what Eric Williams has left for us is not going to die. We are accustomed with democracy in this country. A government confident in its authority should never answer them, never answer the people. Don't hide behind anything. Come out and speak the truth. But they're afraid of the truth. They're afraid of the truth. Or, listen, they don't care about young people. I can't finish my presentation without talking about the young people. I love the young people. The PNM loves the young people. As soon as this bunch of bandits came into office, they went about fighting down the young people. They don't like how they look. They don't like how they sound. All they want to give them is PDO. They want to, as they did in 2010 to 2015, they lock up over 4,000 young people back then, and they had to pay through their teeth, but the money are coming from their pocket, so they don't mind. Again, the very young people who they told, yellow is the code, yellow is the code, yellow is the code, yellow is the code. Huh? I told them then, I'll tell them again. Yellow is jaundice. And all we do with jaundice is gyrate out of the place. We're going to get rid of the UNC as soon as they get the belly to call an election in this country. Imagine, you so wicked and bad. You so wicked and bad. We training people in heavy equipment operation to make sure you could get meaningful jobs. They scrap that. We training people in air condition and refrigeration so you could go and open your own business. They scrap that. We training people in auto mechanics. They scrap that. We training people in leadership at UE. They scrap that. We training people how to operate business on social media. They scrap that. We had the youth talent program, Youth on Stage. They scrapped that. You never thought they would have scrapped CCC. You know they scrapped that too. MILAC for the young men in the urban communities of East Port of Spain and the challenging young men. Quite a successful program being run by the military. You know they scrapped MILAC too. Are you going to forgive them for that? Are you going to forgive them for that? They scrap Amplify. They scrap 40 under 40. They scrap the mechanical program we were doing down at Petrotrin. They scrap the crane operations program. We training young men and women to go and operate crane, construction equipment, etc. They scrap that. They scrap the drill and rig operation program we were running. Fuse program they were running, they scrapped that. The program training young people to do pipeline, they scrapped that. My God, all I can ask you all to do is say a prayer for Trinidad and Tobago. They scrapped all of the youth agricultural programs. The YAP that was given 2 acres of land to our young people and 2 years training at UTT. They scrapped that and come up with some Nancy story because they don't want to give you and you and you and you any land in Trinidad and Tobago. As far as they are concerned, all the state land in this country belongs to one group of citizens. And they could say I dog whistling if I want. Bring the facts. And the facts will support what I just said. They scrap Shade House. They scrap the aquaculture program. They scrap the healthcare program. They scrap the programs to bring back the youth camps to give a second opportunity to our young people in skills training program. Well, if they like to scrap, we are going to scrap the UNC and sell them as scrap iron and get them off the political scene in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'll tell you one thing as I close. Listen, it have one eating doubles and drinking milk that have a visit to the toilet. Getting involved in the PNM business every Monday or Saturday, whatever day. Stay out of the PNM business. Stay out of PNM business. You see in the PNM, our political leader is Penny Beckles Robinson. and we will line up behind her to make sure that the PNM is ready to defeat you, the UNC, and get you out of government in this country once and for all. And I know the next time that they come and tell you, but yellow is the code, yellow is the code, yellow is the code, you will run them from your place. Run them from your place. Support Penny Beckles as the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and bring back decency and order to this country. You see this building behind me? This is we building. This is how we building. Is we build it and we will protect it. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And it shall prevail.
Intimidation, from me and the boy, me no fear man. And me bring me to live up on this station. Humble.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our General Secretary, Senator the Honourable Foster Cummings. PNM people, we have come from near and far. And the next speaker I'd like to welcome has served as Minister of Public Utilities. He had a full plan of how to fix water in Trinidad and Tobago. He served as a Minister of National Security. Aruka Lopino, he is your representative. PNM people, he is your chairman. And for us members of Parliament, he is our chief whip. Make some noise for Mr. Marvin Gonzales.
You free them, but run for your life. You free them, see. You free them, but run for your life. You free them. They come out of bus med. They blows the belting like they want a bus med. No matter what they do, me I go bound to them. Way they get in like they want to.
PNM posse! PNM posse! Great is the PNM! Great is the PNM! Great is the PNM, and we shall always prevail. I want to tell John Jeremy, get your grubby hands off the People's National Movement. Hands off the People's National Movement. BALISIER House is our house. BALISIER House is the people's house. And we will stand and defend the People's National Movement because it is there Dr. Eric Williams sat and make policies that influence the lives of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It is there George Michael Chambers sat and make policies and programs that benefited the lives of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It is there that Patrick Augustus Mervyn Manning sat and made policies and programs for the People's National Movement and for economic and social development in Trinidad and Tobago. It is there Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley sat for 10 years as a prime minister and made policies and programs that benefited the lives of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It is the great BALISIER House that gave birth to John Jeremy to serve in public office as the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago under a previous PNM government. And that is the reason why all people say ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft. Ungratefulness is worse than obeah. Ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft. We will not forget him. My responsibility here tonight is to remind you, PNM people, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, who John Jeremy is. I want to remind you who he is. He was given political life on this hallowed and holy compound of the People's National Movement. He was given an opportunity to serve you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, in the esteemed office of Attorney General in a PNM government. I want to ask you, Kamla Prasad Bisesa had the option of recruiting Anand Ramlogan as her Attorney General. She had the option of recruiting Gerald Ramdeen as her Attorney General. She had the option of recruiting Jagdio Singh as her Attorney General, as despicable and unfit as all of them are. But there were options that were available to Kamla Prasad Bisesa. You must ask yourself, why did Kamla turn her backs on Anand Ramlogan, John Jeremy, and the Speaker of the House, whatever is his name, and go and pick John Jeremy to be her Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago? This was a serious development, PNM people, because you see, in 2009, you'll recall that the Law Association that is so silent today passed two motions of no confidence in John Jeremy when he served as Attorney General in a PNM government. The first motion that was filed against him and passed successfully by the Law Association in the Hall of Justice was that he was attempting to interfere in the independent office of Director of Public Prosecution when Geoffrey Henderson was the DPP. You all recall that? You all recall that? A motion of no confidence was passed in John Jeremy because he was accused of interfering with the independent office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The second motion that was passed by the Law Association in John Jeremy as Attorney General in 2009 was that there were reported attempts to interfere with criminal prosecutions for political purposes. I want you to walk with me, PNM people and citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. John Jeremy was accused by the Law Association, and a motion of no confidence was passed in him because he was accused of interfering with criminal prosecutions to go after his political opponents. Ask his colleague today, Dr. Rudal Munilal, who accused John Jeremy of using the machinery of state to go after political opponents. You all recall that? And then there were allegations that Jeremy played a role in the prosecution of former Prime Minister Basdio Pandey. Ask Kamla Prasad Bisesa, what was the position of the UNC and what was her position then? What was the position of Rudal Munilal? They all accused John Jeremy of political interference in the criminal investigation that led to the arrest of former Prime Minister Basdio Pandey. This led to a commission of inquiry that was chaired by Lord Mustill. And in that commission of inquiry, all kinds of allegations were made against John Jeremy for interfering in the criminal justice system to persecute his political opponents. And Lord Mustill reminded the commission and the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago that John Jeremy was given the opportunity to come before the commission of inquiry and to clear his name and to defend his record. And guess what? John Jeremy never appeared before the Mustill inquiry to clear his name on allegations that he was interfering with criminal prosecutions against his political opponents. 3 years ago, how many of you remember that John Jeremy applied to be an appeal court judge in Trinidad and Tobago. How many of you remember that John Jeremy applied to the Judicial and Legal Services Commission to be an appellate judge in the High Court of Trinidad and Tobago? Guess what happened? Guess what happened? Many senior judges went to Chief Justice Ivor Archie and told him if they made a mistake and appoint John Jeremy as an appeal court judge, he will receive mass resignation from the judiciary of Trinidad and Tobago because judges refuse to sit at the side of John Jeremy given his record in public service in Trinidad and Tobago. I ask you, why did Kamala Persad-Bissessar chose John Jeremy to do her dirty political work when nobody else wanted him? She had access to Anand Ramlogan. She had access to Gerald Ramdeen. But she went and she chose John Jeremy because they were up to nothing good, PNM people. She spent 25 years as political leader of the United National Congress. And up to now, she cannot build one flat building that would be called the home and the headquarters of the United National Congress. But she selectively recruited John Jeremy to be her Attorney General to go after her political opponents and to go after our esteemed BALISIER House. I say to Kamala Persad-Bissessar and John Jeremy, we will not allow you to interfere in the people's house. Get your grubby hands and get your dirty hands off the people's house, because this is our house. We will stand our ground and we will defend this country. We will defend this party. I want to remind you, when John Jeremy was appointed Attorney General, that's 1 year ago, he stood in the parliament and he looked at some of us and he pointed in our direction and he said, I am going to war with you. I'm going to war with you. And I'm going to war with you. In any serious country, this Attorney General would have been fired immediately. But he was sent there to do a purpose. He was sent there to do dirty political work. And when he pointed at us and said he was going to war with us, you, and you, he was doing the bidding of Kamala Persad-Bissessar. The next thing he did was that he removed the Anti-Corruption Bureau from under the Office of Commissioner of Police and placed it in the bosom of the Attorney General's office. An office that was removed by the PNM government from the AG's office because it was perceived that if this office should continue to be under the AG's office, that there will be criminal prosecutions and the prosecutions might be regarded as very tainted. John Jeremy went, removed the Anti-Corruption Bureau and placed it under the AG's office. And guess what? There was a part of the Strategic Services Association, our spy agency, that's supposed to be independent, especially from political operatives. What did John Jeremy do? He removed a part of the SSA, that spy agency, that has the capacity to listen to every single one of your conversation on the phone, on your mobile phones. And he removed that office and he put it under his office so that he now has command of the prosecution arm of the state and the spy agency to listen to all yours and my conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a serious matter. This is a matter that we, the people, and in the People's National Movement cannot and must not ignore, because it is this commission, this SOE that we are living under for the last how many years under this UNC government was pursued by John Jeremy and Alexander, not to reduce crime and criminality in Trinidad and Tobago. It was to go after persons they regard as their political opponents. And that is the reason why when I walk the streets and I go into the community, people are asking me, why does John Jeremy look so hateful? Why does he look so full of revenge? Why does he look so full of vindictiveness? He does, in fact, look evil, that he has a political axe to grind. And therefore, he is doing so because I am told that when the PNM was in government for the last 10 years, guess what? He got no state brief from the PNM government. And that got him absolutely angry against the People's National Movement. And he complained bitterly, I am told. And it is believed that his revenge and his hate against the PNM is because his firm got no state brief. Today, he is Attorney General, and millions of dollars are not given to his firm in state briefs. They are given to the law firm in deep South Trinidad, led by a man who has serious allegations of legal kickbacks to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. And I asked John Jeremy, why are you so interested in BALISIER House? Go and ask Anand Ramlogan to answer the allegations of corruption that was leveled against him by a senior legal practitioner, Mr. Nelson. Go and ask him that. Go and find out what is happening with that investigation and remove your grubby hands off the People's National Movement. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you here today that there's a serious issue in this country that many people are afraid to talk about. And that issue is in relation to the PDOs that have been issued to over 400 citizens that have them incarcerated. Are you aware that out of the 465 PDOs issued by the police, only 435 of those PDOs were executed on persons? Ask yourself, what is happening with the rest of the PDOs? I am told that there is a massive corruption taking place in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, where businessmen and citizens of means are told that there's a PDO out for their arrest, and if they do not pay thousands of dollars to corrupt police officers, then the PDO will be executed on them. I want to ask the Commissioner of Police, what does he know about that? Preventative detention orders are being issued. They are being held back. Citizens are told, if you do not pay thousands of dollars in corruption to corrupt police officers, then PDOs will be executed and you will be incarcerated against your will. And that is the reason why the PNM has always been calling for a full and transparent investigation into the management of PDOs, because you will find out that the vast majority of citizens who are incarcerated under PDOs are not guilty of any criminal offense, and there's massive corruption taking place. Ladies and gentlemen, enough is enough. The time has come for us to act in this country. Let us not be afraid of the United National Congress. Let us not be afraid of despicable Alexander. Let us not be afraid of none of them, because Trinidad and Tobago belong to all of us. If they want, they can threaten us with PDOs, but our voices will always be heard in the communities, in the streets, in the highways and the byways. Because as long as we have the People's National Movement, our voices will not be buried. And therefore, this order that was served on the People's National Movement to ask what we are doing and how we came about with funds to construct our BALISIER house. We will not be afraid of this order. Because the PNM, ladies and gentlemen, is not only in brick and concrete and mortar. The PNM lives in the heart and the dreams of every single citizen of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. You can burn it down. You can rip it apart. The PNM lives in the hearts of every single citizen. And we will not be covered by this order, because this order, we will confine it to where it's supposed to be. Because as the psalmist say, just like the UNC and John Jeremy, it was conceived in political sin, ladies and gentlemen. It was born in sin and it was shapen in political iniquity, just like John Jeremy and Kamala Persad-Bissessar. And therefore tonight, we will burn this court order. We will burn this court order because it will not desecrate the grounds upon the people's national movement was built upon. And we will send them to the political ashes in the political cemetery of the peoples of Trinidad and Tobago. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM.
Put the lighters up, put the lighters up. Everybody now, blaze it up, blaze it up, blaze it up, start to blaze it up, yeah. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, start to raise it up, yeah. Ignite, 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 ignite. Let's all of the family, right like
PNM people, somebody say fire! We want you all to be aware and be careful. We would like some of you all, if you know you're parked on Stanmore Avenue, if you're parked on Albion, if you're parked in some of the surrounding streets, they're actually wrecking right now. And as much as possible, you know, we would like you all to take care of your vehicles. And we're not calling anything right now from this podium, but what I'm saying is check on your vehicles, make sure your vehicles are secure, and make sure you're not being wrecked tonight. One of the things the chairman left out is when John Jeremy said, I'm going to war with you, you, and you. He then looked at the younger members of parliament, Dominic Romaine, Kareem Marcel, Christian Birchwood, and myself, and he said, but I'm not warring with all you. We want to send a clear message to the UNC, to John Jeremy, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and Barry Padarat. If you touch one of we, you touch all of we. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor right now to introduce our next speaker. Started a political career as a councillor, represented in the Senate, represented in the House, represented Trinidad and Tobago at the United Nations and globally. She is the current member of parliament for Arima. She is the leader of the opposition. And she is the first political leader that is a female of the People's National Movement. She is my leader. She is your leader. She is our leader. PNM people, welcome the Honourable Pennelope Beckles Robinson.
We no afraid of nobody. No afraid of nobody. We no afraid of nobody. No afraid of nobody. We afraid. We no afraid of nobody. We afraid. We no afraid of nobody. We afraid. Never scared. Never scared. Never scared. Never scared.
Oh, look at people.
As I stand here tonight, I almost feel like it's having a general election. Like, are they ready for the UNC to go? Like how they're ready to vote out the UNC. Don't worry. Time coming. Okay, so let me acknowledge the chairman of the People's National Movement, the Honourable Marvin Gonzales, who just light up the place. Our secretary, our deputy political leaders. Of course, we are here in the city of Port of Spain. His Worship, the Mayor, Chinua Allen. Chinua, where are you? All the councillors of the city of Port of Spain. I know the Mayor of San Fernando. I saw Point Fortin. I saw Diego Martin. San Juan Lavantil. Tunapuna Piaco. Trinidad and Tobago. And let us especially acknowledge and welcome our deputy political leader, Tobago, the Honourable Shamfa. Cudjoe. I also know from taking a little peep that we have some of our former MPs here. I know former Brigadier Antoine, former MP for Point Fortin, Brigadier Edmund Dillon. I saw former MP Anthony Garcia. I love my country. I saw him a while ago. Former Minister of Works Rohan Sinanan. Yes. Former Secretary Ashton Ford is in the house. Come on, let's big him up. Former MP Maxi Coffey is here. And our regular host on I-95, Darian Marcel. Come, let's big up Darian. I want to start by saying how beautiful it is for brethren to dwell in. I want to say to you, PNM people, they could never beat a united people's national movement. This is not just about what is taking place in the country. What is taking place at this time is bigger than me, and it's bigger than you. And the reason why you are here today is because you love the People's National Movement, but more importantly, you love Trinidad and Tobago. I want to share with you that today I was served with this document, right? And this is court proceedings relating to BALISIER House. Yes? But at least they called Foster and arrangements was made for Foster to collect the document. But in true UNC style, as he come off the airport, they was waiting for him. But they ain't call me. They just show up in the office. But it matters not. The PNM ain't afraid nobody. So yes, serve us with papers, because you understand what is going on, you know. When they see this CR red here, it's panic. It's panic. I want to show you something here. This is a document. People's National Movement major party documents. And this is 1958. Yeah, 1958, because when you stand here at BALISIER House, they don't understand that you're standing. This is history. This is legacy. This is foundation. And you know what is happening to them? It causing a lot of jealousy. The biggest problem with this government, they are running a country based on revenge, based on vindictiveness. And I want to say to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, when the Lord gives you the opportunity to serve, you're not serving yourself. You're serving the people. But when you're serving with a bad heart and you have nothing good, you will never last. Your government can't last. And this UNC can't last. I want to share with you what Eric Williams said about a party. And it is written right here. Party headquarters. And let me tell you why it's important. When you come on a PNM platform, it's not about old talk, it's about education. Because you must be proud of being a PNM. He talks about the first essential is a party headquarters. He talked about we need a 3-story building, at least with a restaurant, offices, and an auditorium to seat at least 600 people. And I'm telling you, that was since in 1958. So when in 2018, Dr. Rowley and Frankie Khan came and turned the sod to start the construction of what you see today, it was the finalization of a dream that started many, many years ago. This is water. I know that many of you have no water in your pipes these days. I'll come into that just now. It is important that we recognize that when you join the PNM, you join an organization that is solid. You see this thing called jealousy because they don't have what we have, and it is because they're operating out of spite, vindictiveness, and wickedness. All of a sudden, they wake up one morning and they want to tell you that we have something to hide. Let me tell you all something. As a leader of the People's National Movement and our leadership, we have nothing to hide. This is not just about a building. This is about history. This is about sacrifice. This is about a vision. And when you talk about the People's National Movement, and when you talk about a party that is celebrating 70 years, we can compare ourselves to Manly in Jamaica. You remember the party. We remember Grantley Adams. We remember Jagan in Guyana. And you can talk about the Communist Party in China. You can talk about Gandhi Party when you talk about parties that have years of growth and vision. And then you could talk about the UNC. If you go through the years from since when we started independence, that party has changed its names many different times. But we have always been PNM, PNM, PNM. And I want to say to you today, don't let them distract you. Don't let them try to make you feel that as a PNM, you don't have to be proud. There is every reason for you to be proud as a member of the People's National Movement. And it matters not, because if I spoke here today about the PNM's performance in education, I would never leave here, whether it be from the University of the West Indies, whether we talk about all the schools that have been built by the People's National Movement, whether it is primary, whether it is secondary, whether it is tertiary. We can talk about the health sector, Point Fortin Hospital, Sandy Grande Hospital, Arima Hospital, the recent block there that they want to claim right here in Port of Spain. We could talk about the energy sector. We could talk about Point Lisas. This same government that want to talk about data center, when the Honourable Patrick Manning completed this smelter, they carry the People's National Movement government to court. And we understood that what we were doing for the people of Labre and Point Fortin, one of the areas where the issue of employment is one that is discussed on a daily basis. And that was the vision of the People's National Movement. But whilst the PNM, whether it is in the sporting area, Hazley Crawford Stadium, and we can go through the country, sports, culture, Napa, Sapa, whether it is infrastructure for the finance, you go to there and you see the immigration, you see the revenue buildings, all done by the People's National Movement. There is every reason for you to be proud. Do not get distracted. Do not let this government who is in trouble because they cannot govern the country. Very soon, budget is coming again. And if I ask every mayor to come here and speak, they will tell you about the pressure they're under in local government. This is a prime minister that called Trinidad and Tobago a lawless dump. She knew what she was going to do. She knew that she was going to deny every single regional corporation and reduce the allocation. And they have to be taking and transferring money from all over to pay wages and salaries. And when if you land in Trinidad, if you land in the airport and you are driving, you cannot believe the bush that you are seeing. They want you to believe that the CPEP workers were corrupt. They want you to believe CPEP was corrupt. They want you to believe reforestation was corrupt. They want you to believe URP was corrupt. But yet still they told you when UNC wins, everybody wins. Sisters and brothers, we are in the vacation period. And in the vacation period, you have to buy school books and uniforms. Many husbands and wives, many parents are not working. And the children are home, no food to eat. You go to the market, goods are rotting. You go in a little bar where people were comfortably selling the beers or selling the drinks. They increase the taxes from 1,500 to 9,000. And I can stay today and I can tell you about every tax this government has put in place, all because they cannot govern. They are wicked. They fooled you and they told you no property tax. They told you that the PNM was only taxing. And Christmas 2025, when you were getting up and hoping you were getting a Christmas present, your present was tax, and more tax under this UNC government. So when you are not able to buy books, buy uniform, when you cannot go to the grocery, when you cannot go to the market, when you cannot pay your light bill, when you cannot pay your WASA bill, when you cannot pay your mortgage, when you cannot pay your rent, it is because of this wicked UNC government. Next year, local election will be due. And I am hoping that the 100,000 of you who stayed home last year, you're going to come out and vote. So I want to ask you now, come 2027, show by hands who voting for local government. We need to get rid of this wicked UNC government. There is nothing greater than the Lord giving you the opportunity to compare. You have Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her bunch of incompetent ministers. And you had the opportunity to see over the period 2015 to 2025, Dr. Rowley and his cabinet. And now you tell yourself, you wish that you had never put this wicked government in place. But you're going to get the opportunity. You're going to get the opportunity. And people do not stay home. They are going to come back just before the government. This government will come just before elections, whether it be local or general. And they will come back to you. That is the time. They're going to find jobs for you. They're going to find money for you. Right now, that local government program, NPOPs or whatever they're calling it, 3 months and you cannot get paid. Wicked. All through the years, you know, the last Friday of the month as a public servant, you're getting your salary in the bank. These people so wicked. They're paying you on the last day of the month. And when you push that card, you still don't have it. You have to wait. I asked all my colleagues who are here. Mr. Imbert is here. Diego Martin East. Hans is here. Diego Martin West. Birchwood is here. Laventille East Mover. Nine Gadsby Dolly is here from St. Anne's East. Dominic is here from Alabama Mausika. And you ask any of them, and they will tell you that the pensioners and those who are collecting from social development grants, it is the worst that they have ever seen, because these people are running the government as though the money is theirs. It is theirs to decide when you get it, when you ain't get it. Many persons know that whenever you applied for pension and public assistance, they started calculating the money from the date of the application. This government changing that. People, wake up. You are going to get the opportunity to move this government. And make sure you are in that line 6 o'clock in the morning, because the time will come. Let me just talk a little bit and touch a little bit on crime, because I know it's late. You would have seen in the papers, Kamala Persad-Bissessar boasting there's a reduction in murders. How many of you feel safer under this UNC government? How many of you? They came to us and they told us they are going to extend the state of emergency. We agreed. They came back again. They want a next extension. You know that this state of emergency now comes to an end on the 15th of September. They also brought the legislation, Stand Your Ground. And they told the business community that once you have passed that Stand Your Ground legislation, every business person will get a gun and all the home invasions will stop. Home invasion stop? Home invasion stop? Then they came now and they want you to believe that the People's National Movement encouraging crime, because they came with a Zoso bill And what is the Zoso bill? In essence, the Zoso bill gave Kamla Prasad Bisesa alone the opportunity to decide certain areas that will be selected. And when you select those areas, of course, they will get special treatment in the sense that they will be targeted by the police. You already have a state of emergency that is not working. They are utilizing the state of emergency for political victimization. And they are also targeting people that they don't like. You can't run a government targeting people that you do like. You governing by revenge. You're governing by vindictiveness. People, let me just say this. Y'all need to remember, because too often we forget. During the period 2010 to 2015, all you remember that? Who was in office? The UNC, the same Kamla. As soon as she got into office she got into office in 2020. In 2011, what did she introduce? A state of emergency. Do not forget, I'm telling you, this platform is about education. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, in introducing the state of emergency in 2011, locked up at least 10,000 people. All you remember that, people? All you surely remember that? And all you went and vote for them again? Huh? And of those 10,000 people that were locked up, only 5% were charged. And of the 5% that were charged, the majority of them won their cases. You, the taxpayers, paid out millions of dollars to all of those people who they arrested and put behind bars. So I'm coming a little closer to my point. As soon as they come into office in 2025, again, they have been governing for the last 15 months. And of those 15 months, almost 80% is under a state of emergency. Now you need to ask yourself, if you're in government, you must have a plan for crime. Their plan for crime is the state of emergency. It can't work. And I want to remind you that when Kamla Prasad Bisesa became the prime minister in 2010, how many of you remember that she said somebody was trying to assassinate her? How much all you remember? Put up all your hand. Huh? She come back again within a year. Her reason for the state of emergency is because people want to kill Sturge, they want to kill Padarat, they're threatening Kadisha, all of them. But you see them in cricket and you see them telling you, but that is performance. Huh? Almost 600 persons that they have locked up under this state of emergency. But again, I'm coming back to the conspiracy to assassinate. That is what the Hadids and they were locked up for. So you do it in 2011, and you come back again 15 years later, and they come back again conspiring to assassinate you. But when you have power, you see this thing called abuse of power? That is what is taking place. Your democracy is under threat, brothers and sisters. These people, they don't want you to talk. They don't want you to walk. You remember, imagine you having regulations where you can't march in front of the parliament. All you don't forget these people, because we're forgetting how much 100 feet you can't march by the parliament. You cannot march by the diplomatic center, even though she ain't living there, you know. She never went there. And all these different places, you cannot march. Now you tell me, that is government? That is caring about people? Or is that just pure chaos? It is all, when it is that you have people under pressure and you realize that people are becoming frustrated. You send home 50,000 people, you promise people job. You get up in the morning, you can't get water. You get up, you can't pay a light bill. You have how much children there to feed, and then you have to listen to these people. Wife now call him, no water home. So you know what when he go home? This is the government that is in power. People of Trinidad and Tobago, I want to let you know this is serious business. This is serious business. The 15th of September, that's when the state of emergency ends. Let us see what they are going to do. Because they're going to give you all kinds of excuses. I want to remind you that in the parliament, they blamed the Honourable Stuart Young and said that in his constituency, you have all kinds of murders. Only in the PNM constituency. You all remember that? And it's important to let you know that we are in the constituency of Port of Spain, North St. Anne's West. This is the constituency of the Honourable Stuart Young, who is out of the country. So I'm going to go and bring greetings on his behalf. Because just before the meeting, he made sure and let me know that he knows that we're going to have a successful meeting. So he's out of the country. He has work to do. He has a case. But we, in his absence, we acknowledge, of course, the work that he has been doing. Also, Camille Robinson-Regis, both of them would have been on the platform. Camille has someone in her family died, and she's also out of the country. All right? But of course, we acknowledge them in their absence today. And let me just say to you all, don't listen to old talk. It have those who would like to divide the PNM. But they have to come real good. Real good. As I said in the beginning, they could never beat a united people's national movement. And I want to take the time to acknowledge those of you who came from Grandy, who came from Mayaro, who came from Point Fortin. I know it are people here from Cedras. It are people here from Diego Martin. It are people here from Arima, Tunapuna, Malaba Mausika, Lopino, Chagonas, Tobago East, Tobago West. Thank you for coming. I ain't finished yet. But it is important for you, listen, we are in opposition. And this is not the first time that we are in opposition. We have been in opposition before. We started 33-3 when people said that you only have 3 seats and that is the end of the PNM. And within 5 years, we were back in government. People, we are going to be back into government. The leadership of the People's National Movement. We have been going through the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago, listening. And we know that there are certain things you wanted us to do differently. So let me give you the commitment that we are listening and we will be doing things differently. We understand that whenever you're governing, you govern for all the people, right? You do not go and promise people that you're going to do things for everybody. But when you get into office, you're only doing it for some people, because that is what this government is about. And they are inventing all kinds of lies to justify why it is CPEP and URP and reforestation cannot exist. I am sure that you know all the programs that the People's National Movement put in place for the young people. I'm seeing the young people here tonight. Whether it be Civilian Conservation Corps, whether it be Mylat, Yapa, and this wicked government, all the youth camps, anything that the People's National Movement started, this government is closing down. It doesn't matter how long it takes, we are going to make sure that the youth camps open again under the People's National Movement. We understand the programs that Foster was doing, Mylat, civilian conservation. And you know what really bothers me? What really bothers me? When Kamla Prasad Bisesa was sworn in President's house, you remember all the promises. Oh, she loved you, and she loved you. Her definition of love is destruction and dismantling. That's her definition of love. But the opportunity will soon come. And I can tell you this, if Dr. Rowley, if Stuart Young, if Patrick Manning, if George Chambers, if Eric Williams was in office for 15 months and almost 13 months, call a press conference, the country would have never tolerated that. Kamla Prasad Bisesa is like a ghost prime minister. You're not seeing her. When last have you seen her at a press conference? When last you see the cabinet have a press conference? You see, when you lie to the people, you have to hide. When you lie to the people, you have to hide. You have to make yourself invisible. Except when you're on a stage and your head nice and your body, that is performance. The performance that the people of Trinidad and Tobago want is performance to pay your salary. You want performance to get employment. You want performance where you could fix the roads. You want performance where you could clean the bush. Right? You want performance where when you go in the market, you could pay for whatever it is you want to buy. And you want performance that you get your salary on time. You know very well, COVID existed and COVID was a challenge and everybody got their salary on time. That is PNM performance. And I want to say to all my colleagues who are here, and I forgot out Kareem, I know Kareem is here as well. I want to say to you all that the amount of money that the PNM invested in the housing sector and in the water sector, you see the stress that you're going through right now, I'll give you the assurance. When the PNM returns to office, you ain't gonna have that kind of stress. Many of you know that there are many parts of Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of the people in Diego Martin, Maraval, and almost the whole of the East-West corridor, Tunapuna, Arima, Grandi. Ask yourself, all of a sudden, the UNC come into office and you don't have water. And guess what? We ain't hearing nothing from Paddy, you know. He is not telling you why it is you're not getting water. You heard him recently say to the people of Central that all you will get water. But don't worry, time longer than twine. So I want to close by telling you about the importance of being vigilant. This government is very wicked, and they are looking for any excuse to lock you up. Any excuse. Because when you see what happened to the Hadiths, and there are hundreds of people who got these PDOs where Mr. Plastic Bag, you know Mr. Plastic Bag? That has been given the power to give people these PDOs. And I say to those people on social media, do not give this government an excuse to lock you up. There are many of those inside, they're telling you, they can't even get to see their lawyer. Now, when you see you have the purse, you can pay for all these King Council and Queen's Council. You see how much of them? They brought them here, and they were so ashamed as to their poor performance. They had to release the Hadiths. Yes? And that is why I'm saying to you to be vigilant. Those of us who made the time to come here today, you understand that this is not just about BALISIER House. I don't want you to get confused and believe that this is just about BALISIER House. It is more than that. Because this institution of the PNM has been around 70 years. When you see your door has something, you just watch what your neighbor have. Right? And they've been watching what we have, because they may have none. But there's something called equality and equity. You want to watch what we have? Watch what you have. Or watch what your door have. And watch how some of you get all you have. Check some of the houses that they have. You want to come for the PNM and you want to check PNM business. I want them to check all who are house in Miami. Because the time going to come when everybody business going to be on the streets. And I hope they're ready. Because when, as a politician, you can go to the parliament, and even long before you lock up somebody, you tell them, Tetron awaits you. All you remember that? Tetron awaits you. When you get consumed with power, you're no longer logical. You don't care. You just want people to believe. I, Kamla Prasad Bisesa. I, Jeremy. I, Alexander. I had the power to lock you up. Well, let me tell you all something. We had the power to vote them out. So let them fool themselves. And I have two things to say before I close. Some of us in life have to decide about good money and bad money. Some of us have to decide about good gifts and bad gifts. And I'm talking real thing here. Because Foster will tell you, they went to La Oqueta, they offer them microwave, they offer them fridge, they offer them TV, and plenty of them take it and vote for them. Right now, they want to give it back. Your grandmother will tell you, it has certain things when people give you, don't take it. Because I'm warning you, they are going to come back. I'm saying this, I'm closing. They are going to come back because they feel all you're stupid. And they feel once they offer you certain things and they wrap it up in a jersey and they come and they whisper in your ears and they want to tell you, well, don't worry. Don't worry with Miss Beckles. Don't worry with Foster. Don't worry with Nyan. They can't do nothing for you. Come, I go do something for you. Why they didn't do it for you before? Because they only want to use you. And you have to stand firm in what you believe in. Stand firm in a party that has been in existence. Stand firm in a party that started with Eric Williams, to George Chambers, to Patrick Manning, to Keith Christopher Rowley, to Stuart Young, and now to Pennelope Beckles Robinson. I want to say to you, the time will soon come when you're going to have the opportunity to vote again. It's going to be difficult. It's very hard to see that these people are collecting their salaries on time and you can't collect yours. It's very hard to see that these people are passing laws and legislation to deny you your rights. It is very hard to see that you have worked hard for years, that your parents work hard, that your grandparents work hard, that we move from independence to republicanism, and that Trinidad and Tobago was built by your sweat and your tears. And now these people want to deny you basic and fundamental rights and freedoms. It is in your hands to ensure that all those distractions that they're creating, that you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, will not be distracted. And the time will soon come. I am a proud member of the People's National Movement. I want to tell you this. The BALISIER is not just a flower. The BALISIER house, the BALISIER flower, represents the spirit. The BALISIER represents the spirit of the people. Whenever they see this, they just get frightened. Whenever they see this, they just get frightened. You know why? You could bend it. You can't break it. You could burn it. It will grow back. And whenever you feel the BALISIER dead, it rises from the ashes. It comes stronger. So people, we are in opposition today. We are in opposition today, but we are going to return stronger. We are going to return united. We are going to return to government. And I want to say to you, put up your hands. Put up your hands and say, great is the PNM. Great is our God. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail. Thank you.
Oh, PNM coming. Oh, PNM coming.
PNM people, let us hear it for our leader and next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honourable Pennelope Beckles Robinson. Ladies and gentlemen, in the ranks of the PNM, not only do we have good governance, but we also have great talent. Please put your hands together and welcome Councillor Kadeem Graham to perform for you.
Good night, everyone. PNM family. There's only one thing we know: People's National Movement. As soon as they enter, before the ink could dry,
People losing their work, left, right, and center. CPEP, you close it down. Say too many ghosts in town. And we listened to your staunchest defender. But I sure when they picking rice and it have black head, you don't throw the whole basin down the drain. Because we know it's worth, we do some sifting instead. So with that defense, you better come again. You could send your best spinners, but there are no winners. When you shut down programs completely, innocent people want to earn, but then with this slash and burn, the innocent pays for the guilty. Someone's heart is cold as ice. Whoever gave that advice to burn down your house cause you're seeing mice. Lord, children caught up in the fray with their future we should not play. I say, there must be a better way. On the all PNM say, there must be a better way. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bam, bam, bim, bam, bye.
PNM people, we want to say thank you so much for coming out tonight. Remember, we stand in defense of democracy. We are the People's National Movement. We are all over Trinidad and Tobago, and we stand in defense of BALISIER House and in defense of our democracy. My name is Sanjiv. I want to thank Laura Lizama for being on stage with me this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, no matter where we go, we always stand by who we are. Great is the PNM! Great is the PNM! Great is the PNM! And we shall prevail. Reach home safely and God bless.
Coming on the life like snaking out the grass. One with your fitness in the right body. One with your fitness in the right path. Let me talk with a friend and we like it like that. Coming on the life like snaking out the grass. One with your fitness in the right path. Well, I don't have time to beef. Lucky for power. Feel the power. DJ.
Touch it, bring it, baby. Touch it, bring it, baby. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul. Yeah. Somebody pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul.
Who, me?
While I was praying, pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul.
I can't complain, the only constant is the change. And we go touch the road again. So as long as they call my name, then I will answer. I'm a happy camper, and love is my sponsor. Oh, and as long as I'm man of life, then I will dance up. No time for no anger, I'm smiling with my hands up. Yeah.
Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul. Somebody pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul.
Who, me?
While I was praying, pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul.
Yeah.